All right, y'all. Good afternoon. I've been looking forward to this opportunity to discuss this lesson. I know, Ms. Dover, you have an amazing lesson ready for us, and we want to see how we can tune it and make it even better before you teach it to your students. So, on our lesson tuning protocol, you'll be presenting. I'm going to be facilitating this discussion, and Nakarado, you're going to be typing out everything along this protocol, just so that we don't forget what we talked about and we keep note of everything as we go. And as we talked about before, the power of this protocol is that it keeps us on pace, and I'm looking forward to next time and hearing from somebody else too. So we have our instructional priorities here. So when we keeping our instructional priorities in mind, Michelle, what's your focus question on this lesson?
Well, this lesson I feel is strong on analysis and so forth. It's a really good discussion lesson, but everything has room for improvement, and the writing is just kind of weak. So I need it to be more engaging, the writing pieces, and I also just want better rigor in the writing.
Yeah, and if we look at our instructional priorities, it looks like what you're saying is, how can I promote deep engagement through the use of writing, which conveniently is the W in the Wicker strategies.
Perfect, thanks.
We've all had time to review this lesson, but please just walk us through just the key points of this lesson and what we're going to be looking at today.
Okay, so this is in a multicultural studies class, and I wanted the students to basically practice analysis skills, but we're in a Latin American unit, so I want them to be able to focus on standards of learning how U.S. foreign policy and immigration has been historically, how it is now between Latin America and the United States. And it's mostly them, conversing, text marking documents, and things of that nature. So, and then ending with a writing element and having some quick writing elements in between questions and so forth.
All right, well, thank you. We're going to take a moment and pause and probe. We're going to look at the lesson in light of what Michelle just shared with us. And we're going to silently take a couple minutes to review the lesson plan and write down any probing questions that address her focus. So now we're getting into the clarifying questions round. The purpose of this round is so that we better understand what's going on in the lesson. We're going to go round robin style, where each one of us asks a specific clarifying question. Start with you, Mr. Prayer.
So my question is, I have an idea towards engagement, but I want to back up first. How are your students grouped in this?
They're in groups of about 6, and they have a recorder, they have a facilitator, and then they have other people that are discussing.
So the students are reading all of these documents, and then you said that they have a text marking code that they're using to read all of them. Are they reading all of these independently first, and then do they have a chance, are they all discussing them or with each other before they go into the next part, or is it all independent?
So as a math teacher, I'm a little hesitant because I don't really know. Can you explain to me what a Harkness discussion actually is?
All right, so now we're going to jump into the points of praise. One focus of our PLCs this year is feedback and delivering quality feedback. So there's a lot to say that is going to lead to positive student success, and that's how we want to frame it. Rather than saying, I like this strategy, or I like that you did that, or I like your hair, or I like your outfit, we want to do something like, when you chose to use the Harkness strategy is leading to student success because it's allowing them to engage discussion, something like that. And that would be my point of praise for you.
Well, I think something that's really important is having the code for text marking, so that students, when they're referencing the text, they are all looking for similar things, and there's not a lot of confusion based on not knowing how to find what they're looking for.
The structure that you have set up here for them to answer the responses and then consider what evidence they can support, I think that's really beneficial and going to lead to their success, because then they can very clearly organize their information and say, I responded to this text and I feel, or this prompt and I feel this way, and I have the text right underneath it to support it, and I think that organization is going to really help your kids be successful.
Okay, so this is the meat of our process here. This is the Socratic round. So before we ask clarifying questions to help us understand the lesson, the Socratic round is really going to drive at your question, your focus question, which had a lot to do with how can I boost engagement using Wicker strategies. Deep engagement through writing would be the one that you talked about. So it's a temptation for us to want to just go straight to what a strategy that she could use to do that is, but we really want to work toward asking coaching style questions so that we all exercise that inquiry-based way to find the best solution ourselves. So the question I have for you is, to promote engagement in writing, what strategies have you used in the past as far as what has helped students with writing and engagement?
Oh my God, so I just tried this today. You really should try like a Socratic method where you have them talk.
Aaron, I'm gonna stop you right there. Can we frame that as a question? It's a great idea, we're gonna get to that, but how can you frame that as a question?
True. Sorry about that.
You're good.
Have you considered a strategy you could use where all students have a place at the table to discuss?
Well, hopefully this is legitimate and not just because I'm not familiar with the lesson. So what is the final product supposed to be?
I wish we could go on forever with those Socratic questions,
Me too.
but I know it's given you a lot to think about.
So much.
Hearing from everyone's perspective. So we're at the point, the part of this process now where it's the presenter reflection. So as our presenter, you get a chance to reflect and kind of think aloud as to how you might edit or modify your lesson based on the questions that you heard us talk about.
Well, I was thinking about visuals for engagement, and I use that for like the hook at the beginning, but embedding more of those throughout, you know, while they're discussing and so forth, because they go step by step to each prompt. So it's easy if I had some more visuals, you know, that go along with it at that time. It could prompt more discussion, and more times for pausing and connecting during the document review at the beginning. Like we do that over a week, and we kind of like text mark it and like quick conversation and move on. But maybe having just like one or two little areas where they can pause and make a connection. You know, like a little hashtag, something connected to something, either something else you learned or something that's going on today. You know, anything like that. Anything they make self-reference, they're gonna remember better. And then I was also thinking about how the discussion actually can make each student's writing product richer, because they get the benefit of everybody else's, you know, thoughts and so forth. But I was wondering about connecting it more to the essential question in the writing and making that like a more clear directive for the end product.
Wow, yeah, your reflection really took in a lot of what we talked about, and I can tell that it even sparked some ideas that we didn't even discuss. So that's wonderful. That's wonderful. That's beautiful. So now we're at the part of the process where it's a strategy share. We have strategies based on what you reflected on and what we talked about that we could offer to you. But what specific areas do you feel you could use some ideas with specific strategy?
Well, I was looking for more, so less formal writing products that they can do, that they can still have it be more personalized, you know, they can make it, you know, make a connection somehow. So, I don't know, I just need more informal writing ideas that they can be connected to.
I remember at the year we learned about rafts as an informal writing, so maybe that's something you could use with your students. It kind of gives them the opportunity to make some choices and use choice in writing some informal pieces that might help you with helping them make those connections that you're looking for.
Definitely.
And that actually sparks an idea for me, which you could have for the role for some of the students could be a political candidate in a Central American country during the era that you're talking about. And then they would use evidence from the documents. And so I know you talked a lot about informal writing, but it would still kind of activate a lot of those writing skills. So yeah, I can
and
see
give
that.
some more motivation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So lively discussion on question one of our debrief discussion questions, connecting these to our instructional priorities of the opportunity myth. Always trying to be better at that to better outcomes for kids. Question number two, and of course we all want to get some our buy-in and our perspective on this, but how can we all apply what was discussed in our own classrooms? So I'm thinking about my classroom, and I'm thinking about our discussion, and And I often will give students images or charts or a video clip or a document, but this whole protocol and conversation really has me thinking about ways that I need to be infusing writing into the curriculum and giving students breaks to actually write their thoughts on it. And I hope to build into a Harkness discussion like this. So I'm actually looking forward to seeing your classroom, and hopefully I can learn a little bit from it.
The thing I'm taking away from this is like what you were mentioning earlier before was that you wanted to incorporate more writing, more meaningful writing with rigor, but still keep it not as time consuming. So for me, I would explore how can I incorporate writing into a performance-based art, but still have writing incorporated so they can use their voice to articulate their own thoughts, but still not take away from the performance aspect.
I was thinking about like, as far as like the pausing in writing and having more writing throughout to be able to incorporate later. Every once in a while I do this, but I should do it more often, like pause and let them collaborate on the board, and they, they have a topic they each write, and they can correct each other or add or stuff like that. And then students online could do like a page, they could edit it together. So I don't know, just thinking of more ways to put that, kind of like pause and connect throughout. And I mean, that's like very informal writing, but it can help give them more ammo for when they're ready to create their product.
Oh, absolutely.